Hello everyone, I'm so excited that you have purchased a donut learn to crochet kit, and I'm excited that we will be making a donut together. Let's get started. In your kit you should have blue, green, pink, or purple yarn. I'm going to be using the purple yarn. When you pick up your yarn, you should see a knot in it. It should look just like this. That's a loop. Don't take this loop out. Don't cut the tail. We're going to need that for later. The first thing you're going to do is grab your hook. That should also be in your kit. Grab your hook. You're going to insert it into the loop or the slip knot that has already been made for you. And you are going to take these ends and gently tighten the loop on your hook. Should still be able to move a little bit. It shouldn't be too tight, but also it shouldn't be loose. It will look like this. To hold my yarn and my crochet stick in a comfortable position, what I do is wrap the yarn I'll be working with, which is the yarn attached to the ball. I wrap it around my index finger and I hold the crochet hook between my thumb and my index finger. I'm right-handed, so this is my right hand and this is my left. So this is how I comfortably hold the yarn and the hook. Now what we're going to do is chain 14 stitches. So let me show you how you do that. The first thing you're going to do is yarn over. And you do that by simply placing the yarn over the hook. So what you do is, here's your yarn, here's your hook. You take your yarn from the back to the front and you hold it under the hook here. You can even slightly turn your hook so it locks it into place. Once you yarn over, we're going to pull through that loop that was already on the chain, that was already on the hook, excuse me, and you have your first stitch or chain. We're going to do that again. You have your yarn here and you have your hook. You're going to take the yarn, wrap it around the back, bring it to the front, turn your hook slightly to lock that yarn into place and pull through. That is our second chain. Let's do it again. Take the yarn from the back or behind the hook, bring it to the front, slightly turn your hook, bring it through that loop. So now we have 3. Let's do it again. Your yarn, wrap it around the back to the front, slightly turn your hook, bring it through that loop. So we have 4. We need to do this a total of 14 times. So you want to do that 14 times total, so 10 more times, and then we'll move on to the next step. Once you have chained 14 stitches, it should look like this. Now, what you can do to make sure that you have 14 is count the stitches. We're going to start from the first stitch we made, which is here, and count to make sure that we have 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. For this next part, what we're going to do is insert your hook into the first chain that we made, which is closest to the knot, which is here. We're going to insert our hook into this loop here. Now, because you have a long tail, be careful not to use that. You want to use the yarn that is attached to your ball of yarn. So just put that tail out the way as best as you can, so that way you won't use that one. So we take our hook and we insert it into that loop, and you will have 2 loops on your hook. Now what we're going to do is take our working yarn, which is the yarn attached to the ball of yarn. We're going to yarn over, which is bringing your yarn from the back to the front. Slightly twist your hook to lock the yarn in place, and we're going to pull through that first loop. That will leave 2 loops on your hook. What you're going to do next is pull through that second loop. That will lock those stitches into place, and you will have 1 loop left on your hook. The next step, we're going to yarn over. So take your yarn, go from back to front, slightly turn your hook to lock that yarn into place, and pull through the loop. You will have 1 loop on your hook, and all of the stitches that you have made so far are locked into place. Now what we're going to do is turn our circle, so you can leave your hook positioned the same way you've been using it, and just simply turn your circle around. That's it. I'm going to show you again. So your circle was positioned like this. What we're going to do is turn our circle around. What that does is help us to identify our beginning and ending point without having to use any stitch markers, and also by keeping the seam clean. Now we're going to single crochet into the 14 stitches that we made in our first round. So to single crochet, what you do is you're going to take your hook, you're going to place it into the first stitch that we made, which it's going to be a loop that looks like this. The very next loop, you take your hook, you place it into the loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. You yarn over and pull through the first loop. You will again have 2 loops on your hook. You yarn over and you pull through both loops. And if you need to, you can use the yarn to tighten it to make sure your loop that's on the hook isn't too loose. That's going to be very important in making your donut seem very clean. Okay, we're going to do it again. We're going to single crochet into the next stitch. So your stitches are going to look like this. It looks kind of like a braid. So the loops on the outer edges, you're going to put them inside of there. So we're going to take our hook. We're going to insert into the next loop. Yarn over. Pull through that first loop. Yarn over again. Pull through the second loop. Now we have made 2 single crochets. Let's do it a third time. We are going to find our necks. So sometimes it can get a little tricky, especially with the thicker yarn, but as long as you count as you make the stitches, you will know that you've made enough stitches. So we can see that we have a stitch in this one, so we don't want to put it in that one, we want to put it in the next one. So we're going to insert into that loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop, 2 loops are on your hook, yarn over, pull through both, insert into your loop, you'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through that first loop, yarn over, pull through again. And what you want to do is do this 14 times around the circle. Once you have created your 14 stitches, your circle should look like this. And we can double check the amount of stitches by simply counting. So I'm going to take my hook out and I'm going to count my stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This was the first stitch. So I have the right amount of stitches. I'm going to put that back in there and I'm going to tighten my yarn. So what we're going to do to close our circle, we are going to insert our hook into the first stitch. It's okay if it's a little gap there, that will end up closing. So this is your first stitch that you made. Unlike the first row, this will have 2 loops with it. You want to make sure that you get your hook, or you insert your hook underneath both of those loops, not just one, but both. So you take your hook, you insert it underneath of both. See, I have both loops. I have both loops on the stick, on the crochet hook. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is make a slip stitch. I'm going to yarn over, pull through the first loop, pull through that second loop. So we have 1 stitch on the hook, one loop on the hook, and it is locked into place. We're going to yarn over, pull through, and we are going to turn our circle just like. Now on this row or this round, I'm going to teach you how to increase, and that simply means adding stitches. So what we're going to do is place a stitch or a single crochet into the first stitch. So this is the first stitch that was made. We're going to place a single crochet into this stitch next to the hook. So we're going to take our crochet hook. We are going to make sure our yarn is secure around our finger, not too tight, not too loose. We are going to insert our crochet hook into that stitch, remembering to get underneath of both of those loops. We're going to yarn over, pull through. There will be 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. tightening your yarn if need be. There will be one loop on the hook. Now our next stitch is going to be an increase. The next stitch is the stitch right beside the one that you made. So it's right here. Remembering to get underneath of both and not just one. This is just one, and this will be both stitches. You always want to get underneath of both of those stitches for this project. What you want to do is insert your hook. We're going to make 2 single crochets. So insert your hook. You will have your 2 loops from this stitch on the hook and your loop that was already on the hook. So it should look like that. You're going to yarn over, pull through those first loops. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both of those loops. Now in that same exact stitch, you're going to make another crochet. So in the same space that we just made this one crochet, you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through. There will be 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through again. So that is your first increase. There will be 2 single crochets in that stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to make 1 single crochet. And that is the stitch right next to the stitch that we made. So you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2. We just made our next single crochet. And the next one we are going to increase. So the pattern for this round is one single crochet, and the next stitch 2 single crochets. So we made 1, and the next stitch we're going to make 2 single crochets or an increase. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to do that a second time into that same exact stitch. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so let's do the next one. Into the next stitch, we are going to make a single crochet. This is our next stitch. It's right beside the stitch we just made. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And our next stitch, we're going to make an increase or place 2 single crochets into that stitch, the very next stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through that stitch. Yarn over, pull through those 2 stitches. In the same exact space, we're going to place another single crochet. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So you're going to complete the rest of the circle with that same pattern. 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, there will be 2 single crochets or an increase. You're going to do that working your way around the circle, and we're going to meet back to go over the next step once that is completed. Once you have completed your pattern, your circle should look like this. there should be a little space there for that one stitch. We're not going to place a single crochet in that stitch. If you've ended your pattern with 2 crochets or an increase as your last stitch, then that is a cheat code to know if you have enough stitches, but we can still count to make sure you do. You should have 21 stitches. So I'm going to count to make sure that we have 21 stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we have 21 stitches. So we're going to close up this round, and we do that by making a slip stitch. Same as before. We're going to insert our hook into that first stitch, making sure that we get underneath both loops. We're going to yarn over, pull through that first loop, and pull through that second loop. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through that loop that was on the hook, locking everything into place and starting a new round. We're going to now turn our circle. And what I do is just simply, depending on what direction I'm working on, I just move that tail out of the way so it doesn't confuse me. And this is how your circle should look. So your donut is starting to come together. Now we're also going to do an increase on this row. I'm going to let you know the pattern for that. It's going to be 2 single crochets and then 1 increase. Okay, so in that first stitch closest to your hook, which is going to be here, we are going to place a single crochet, 1 single crochet. Insert your hook. It may be a little tricky, it may be a little tight, that's okay. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through that first stitch. There will be 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through both loops. We have our first single crochet. We're going to make another crochet, another single crochet, but in the next stitch. So we're going to insert our hook into the very next stitch, insert it, yarn over, pull through. There will be 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through. So we have made 2 single crochets and 2 stitches. Now our next stitch is going to be an increase, which means we place 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So we're going to insert our hook into the next loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. We have to place another single crochet in this stitch because it is an increase. So we're going to insert our hook into that same stitch where we just made a single crochet, yarn over, pull through. There will be 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have made 2 single crochets and we have increased. Okay, so let's do that again. We are going to make 1 single crochet in the next stitch by inserting your hook, yarning over and pulling through, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. Okay, in the next stitch, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, leaving 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have again just made 2 single crochets and 2 single stitches in 2 different stitches. Now we're going to do an increase by placing 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. Into that same exact stitch, what we're going to do is place another single crochet. So we are going to insert, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So you want to continue that pattern all the way around. Once this round is done, you'll have 28 stitches. So your next 2 stitches are going to be single crochet, and then it will be an increase. And you can always refer to your written instructions as well if you have any questions. Okay, once you have finished this round, this is what your circle should look like. If you have completed this round with an increase, that means you have the correct number of stitches. You should have 28 stitches for this round. So you can take your plastic needle, if that helps you to count each stitch. You can count around just to make sure you have 28 stitches. Okay, so after you count to make sure you have the correct amount of stitches, we are going to do a slip stitch to lock our stitches into place and start our new round. We're going to take our hook, we're going to insert it into that first stitch that we made. We're going to yarn over and pull through the first loop and then pull through that second loop. Then we're going to yarn over again and pull through that loop on the hook. You'll have 1 loop on your hook. So that counts as your slip stitch, locking your stitches into place, and actually your chain 1 for your next round. And we are going to turn our work. So we have 1 more row of increasing. On this round, we're going to single crochet 3, and then we're going to increase. So just like before, we are going to put our first single crochet into that stitch closest to that hook or to the chain we just made. So here, we're going to take our crochet hook, insert it into that stitch, the first stitch, yarn over, pull through. There will be 2 loops on the hook. Then we are going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. That's our first single crochet of this round. Now in the stitch right beside it, we are going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through. There will be 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. That is our second single crochet. We're going to make our third single crochet in that next stitch. Insert, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have made 3 single crochets, so it's time for our increase. Our increase is going to be 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So in the next stitch, we're going to insert, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. Now we're going to make another single crochet in that same stitch. So we're going to insert, yarn over, and pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2. That was our first increase on this round. So we're going to do it again. In the next stitch, we are going to place 1 single crochet. So we are going to insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to make another single crochet. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's our second single crochet. We're going to make our third now. In the next stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. We've made 3 single crochets, so our next stitch has to be an increase, which is 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. So in the next stitch, we're going to increase, we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. In that same exact stitch, we're going to place another single crochet. So in that same exact stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So you want to do that pattern working around the rest of the circle. So your next stitches will be 3 single crochet stitches and an increase on that 4th stitch, 3 single crochet stitches, increase on the next, and you want to complete that pattern going all the way around the circle. Once you have completed the pattern on this round, which is 3 single crochets and then an increase, you should have 35 stitches. Again, if you want to just kind of move this out the way, you can. And you can always double count your stitches to make sure you have the right amount. Now we're going to close this round. So we're going to close the round by making a slip stitch. We are going to insert our hook into that first stitch, yarn over, and pull through both of those loops. We will have 1 loop on the hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through, which is chaining 1 and getting ready for the next round. And we're going to turn our work. Then if you need to move this again. Now, the next 2 rounds will be easy because by this time you're a pro at making single crochets, and the next 2 rounds do not have any increases. So we're going to make 35 single crochets going around the entire circle. So in that first stitch, which is here, you're going to insert your hook, making sure to get underneath of both loops, yarn over and pull through that first loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, in the next stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, let's do one more time. In that next stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to do that a total of 35 times because you will have 35 stitches in this round, and that will complete this round. Once you have finished that round, it should look like this. You'll have that little gap there for that stitch. We never crochet in this stitch unless you're adding stitches, because this stitch here is actually a part of that first stitch that you made a single crochet into. That's why we always skip that. So of course, you can double check your work by counting your stitches. You should have 35 stitches. Okay, now what you're going to do is make another slip stitch. Take your hook, your crochet hook, insert it into that first stitch that we made, yarn over, and pull through both of those loops on your hook. And don't be afraid to use your other hand to assist you with holding your project or holding your yarn. That's what it's there for. That's actually very important, because that will help you to control the tension on your yarn. The better you can control your tension, the cleaner your donut will look. And it's okay if it's not perfect, it's your first time, don't worry about it. It's supposed to be fun, so that's okay. Now with that one loop that we have on the hook, we're going to yarn over and pull through, making a chain for our last round. We're going to turn our work. You can pull this yarn through. If it's in the way, that's our tail. And we are going to complete our last and final round. So this round does not have any increases, all single crochets. So in that first stitch, you're going to insert your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through again. That's your first single crochet. And the next stitch, you are going to make another single crochet. So insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through two. On our next stitch, we're going to make another single crochet. So in that stitch next to the stitch we just, or the single crochet we just completed, you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through two. And you're going to do that the rest of your circle, making sure that you have 35 stitches total. Okay? Okay. Once you have finished this last round, this is what it will look like. This is the icing to your donut. What we're going to do is close off this round. So take your hook, you want to insert it into that stitch, yarn over, pull through that first loop, and then pull through that second loop. Now you're still going to yarn over and pull through, but that chain isn't to start your next round, it's to lock everything into place. So you should have a long tail. I have to cut mine, but you should have a long tail left on your donut. Okay? Now, what you want to do is you take your hook, leaving your hook inside that loop, you pull, you want to pull that entire tail through that loop and pull it. Pull it tight, but not too tight that you break or pop the yarn. And you have your icing completed. So whatever color you have, blue, pink, purple, or green, that color will be the top part to your donut. This is your icing. Now, what you're going to do is do the same exact thing for your bottom half of the donut, for your chocolate piece. So you'll have brown yarn in your kit. You want to use that brown yarn, and you're going to make the same exact circle. So you just replay this video from this part to the beginning, or from the beginning to this part. You replay it, and then you will have 2 pieces to your donut.